Hi everyone, so thank you so much for tuning in again this evening. The reason why I'm doing a live feed today is that we are gearing up for the big pottery auction. So I have come down to Castner Auctions where we're going to be auctioning off in just a few days a large number of Mary's pottery pieces. So for those of you that have been following the Potter's House series, you know how much work it was for me to go through the home and find all this amazing art. The reason why I'm giving you the update today is that we are just a couple days away from the auction. So the auction starts April 12th. It's going to be an online auction only. We're not doing it in-house here. So anybody from anywhere in the world will have a chance to bid. And they will ship anywhere as well, which is handy because if you bid on something and buy it, you probably want to eventually end up with it. So I'm going to show you sort of a preview of some of the items that are going up for auction. You can go online right now, which I put in the description. They've called it, I think, the Potter's House. The link is the Potter's House for Castner Auction. So go to kauctions.ca. The buyer's premiums and all that information should be on there. We are, let me tell you, it was a lot of work. So went through, I picked an assortment of stuff, and I am working, so you know, I'm working hard for the family on this too, because all of Mary's pieces that she created, we're splitting those profits with the family for her estate. Like I said, I thought that was just the right thing to do. So this is me working hard and trying to do well for Mary's estate as well as for our family by you know, making all this, removing 15 or 16 tons of garbage out of the home worthwhile to end up with a bunch of beautiful artwork. So if you guys are ready, I'm going to be turning the camera around and showing you guys sort of a preview of some of the work, some of Mary's works and some of the other art that was found in the house. It will be available for bidding in just a couple days time. So let me turn this around. All right, so we kind of have some pieces laid out in here. These are her roses, which she created. And hi guys, as you're logging on, I don't know if I'll have a chance to answer questions today, but I'll try. And I should have let Josh know that I was doing this so we'd time this out a little bit better. This is the Crying Man mask. That's just such a beautiful piece, so moving. Such a lovely piece. There's all sorts, there's her spheres. Now her spheres there is one in the Gallery of Fine Art in Japan. And what's insane is that this art that we're looking at is museum quality. I want to emphasize that. This art is not just museum quality. It is held in many famous galleries and museums around the world. And you will all have a chance to own something that will probably end up being worthy of being in a museum. So all of these pieces are down here and are going to be available for auction shortly. As we look through some of the items, you're going to see a couple unglazed ones. This right there, if you look at the bottom, that's Mary's very first black jar. She marked it first black jar. Historical piece, her very first piece, and it's right there, going to be available for auction. The bowls, the dishes, Jan Letts did these sort of pieces that look almost like they're coconuts. They're really, really cool. Another well-known, well-regarded artist that she was friends with and did pottery classes with. We didn't bring down any of Elke Blodgett's pieces. There were a couple that we found. There were a couple Inuit pieces. As you know, she did go up to the Arctic and she did travel through and work with indigenous people. So there's a couple pieces you'll find that are indigenous in nature. Those came right out of the house. If you watch back in the episodes, you'll see where I found a lot of these things. But what a tremendous amount of artwork that came from this house. And I can't tell you the amount of work. One of the first things that I found, in I think episode 2, I found this. It's a Haida stone carved eagle. Found that piece on the desk at the bottom of the stairs. It was one of the pieces that made me want to buy the house. And there it is, going to be up available for you guys to purchase. There are 91 lots in total. So there's something for everybody with all sorts of different price points. You probably didn't see that little potted canoe. That came out of a box that she had taken to a class, and I presume that was done with her indigenous students that she was teaching artwork. So there's a little potted canoe. Very interesting. Some teapots, little mystery box. And there's a couple smaller pieces too, like this. That is an award that was given, or a little ceramics symposium token that was given to Mary for one of the pieces she attended. But I found a couple other things to bring down that you guys didn't see in any of the videos. One is, I call this arms outreached bowl because it's a figural that she made of a person with their arms outreached in kind of a rib cage pattern. It's unglazed. There's a couple unglazed pieces, but they are signed. That one is signed. Just amazingly cool artwork. And one of the lots is going to be this entire box of unglazed pottery that I found in her pottery studio. And that piece is going to be going up as a whole lot. So somebody will have a chance to bid. If you are a potter and you wanted to, to have these on display to see the lines in which she turned before she had a chance to polish them with the stone, this will be going up as a whole lot. There's also some flowers. I want to show you something really neat though that you guys didn't see before. I'm going to very gently take it out of the showcase here. This looks like a very nice glass, which it is. It's a long stem glass. But what's cool about it is that if you look at the base here, APA stands for Alberta Pottery Association Service Award, given to none other than Mary Borgstrom. It's signed and personalized right to her. That will be going up for sale. So we are working hard to recoup some of our expenses that we had in the house, but also trying to offer some really neat things for you guys. Other notable pieces that are going up would be the bust right here. So this is Mary's daughter, Karen, and she started sculpting this back in the 1960s. It's one of very few pieces that she didn't turn on a wheel, that she sculpted from hand, and you can see her finger marks in the clay from where she started putting this together. So just a nice little bust of her daughter, who she loved very much. These pieces, by the way, are pretty substantial. These are over 2 feet tall, or roughly 1.5 feet and 2 feet. These are some of the most substantial pieces that I found in the house. This one in particular, this piece right here is very smooth to the touch. They both are. And Mary told me that she would spend hours polishing these by hand with a stone that she would find down by the river, and she would take that rock and she would polish these by hand. And so what we have here are some of her massive pieces, very similar to ones that were put on display in Japan and over in Europe. So some amazing artwork going up, including these bowls, a very large black jug. And I one of these, this one I call the Bottomless Black Jug, or Black Jar, because when she did the pottery on this, she didn't actually put a full bottom on it, but she glazed it and finished it with a false bottom, or with no bottom. There's this really interesting vessel, like a pitcher, that she's created, and just really love the rustic nature of this. So all sorts of wonderful stuff going up for auction soon. I'm going to come back around, do one more tour of the pottery that's going up. So we have it mainly all in showcases right now. This sale is going live in just a couple days. So for those of you watching, you will all have a chance to own any of these pieces, because this is the collection that's going up for sale. And I can't stress enough that the last time any of these pieces were up for sale would have been probably 30, 40 years ago. And pieces like this are truly in galleries. And if you don't get the ceramics, or don't understand ceramics as art, when you look at the glaze on a piece of pottery like this, the way to get those colors, even just to kind of blend and come down and to get the shine just right, this is true art, folks. This is something that you put your love and your heart and soul into. And the way that she would do her pottery, was often ground fired. So very, very difficult to do, and very few of these would have survived. So it's very common to find, and I've noted any condition issues, but with the way that she did these ground firing, cracks in the glaze or cracks in the pottery from firing is very common with this style of pottery, because it's an uneven temperature. It's not like going into a kiln, so don't be surprised if a couple items mention that they have cracks from firing. That's just what happens when you fire in this fashion. But some tremendous, amazing stuff, and make sure that you go and check out the auction. It's going to be happening very soon. So I'm going to turn the camera back around on me now. I'm hoping this is a success. I really am. We've put our heart and souls into emptying out that house and to find these gems and find these treasures. It is an art gallery behind me here, and this stuff deserves to be in the finest of museums or the finest of homes. And I hope that people who buy this are really going to love it and put it on a mantle or put it on display in a showcase. It is just a tremendous amount of stuff that is going up there. The auction company is just processing the pictures and getting the numbers up today. Everything goes live on the 12th. So go to kauctions.ca, look for the Potter's House link. And yes, this is a regular auction house that sells all sorts of other things, This is a specialty sale that we're doing with them, and we will be going, they will have individualized numbers, and I've taken pictures of pretty much everything and tried to detail any issues or concerns. But beautiful stuff. You know the series, you know where it came from, and you know, it was a whole lot of work to find it, but I'm so glad that I saved an entire art gallery from that house and it did not get lost. You will all have a chance to own a piece. And the starting bids on most items are kind of going to be, like, some of the items are going to be starting around $100 or so. So if you're saying, I don't think I can afford something, which I've heard lots of people say, don't be so sure. Get in there, place your bids. You might be able to take something home. We've got 91 lots, and that's lots of things for people to bid on. So I hope that you guys enjoy the sale. I'll give you an update as we get closer, but stay tuned to that auction. Go online and sign up right now and have a chance to take home a piece of art, a piece of history, and a piece of this story which you've all been following. Thank you so much, guys. I'll answer a couple questions here. The sketches are not part of this, neither is the poetry. I'm hanging on to that stuff right now as we're trying to get it documented. Right now, this is a pottery auction, a pottery art auction, 91 lots. You'll all have a chance to bid on something, and I really hope that you guys do, and hope that this all ends up being worthwhile. You guys have a wonderful day. We'll see y'all soon, and I'll be back on probably later on tonight or tomorrow to do a regular kind of live feed from the house with my wife and do a little chat. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye for now, guys.